Hello, you all. Welcome to the channel. It is Wednesday, March 12th, and I am glad you're here. I want to talk about several things today. I want to talk about resilience. I want to talk about just what I've been going through with some other things that I found out. And I also want to talk about getting ready for my MRI. So, if you haven't subscribed, please do like and share. Well, you all, I am at the point of my healing journey. For you all who are new to this channel, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in July 2015. It's been a 9-year journey. I have some growths in my liver, 2 growths that were in my lungs that have disappeared, some suspicious looking areas, in some other parts that I really can't even speak on because we don't really know what they are. When I say some growths in my liver, there's 6 and then there's lots of cysts. So, but also with the breast cancer, I had a ton of ovarian tumors, and so they had to remove them. And they thought that I had ovarian cancer because I researched it and afterwards as to wondering why they were almost for certain it was ovarian cancer. Well, ovarian cancer, those tumors, I had so many that I had young ones, older ones. Well, most of the times they turn into cancer. And I had so many that they didn't even count them when they removed them. The surgery went, I think it was 2 or 3 times as long as it should have been. I was supposed to be in the hospital for 1 day to recover because it was just supposed to be a total hysterectomy and to remove a couple of tumors. And I was in the hospital for 10 days with a colon that had fallen asleep because they had handled it. And so that's how I started my journey. And then once I healed from that, then we removed the cancer that they thought was stage 0. But when they did surgery, they found out it was a lot worse than they thought, just like the other surgery. And so I went from that to learning that the cancer was in the lymph nodes. So I had to take the really strong chemo step. I mean, I could have opted out of it, but I just didn't like my chances after praying about it. So I have faith, but this stuff was on the move. We needed to stop it, and I did radiation. I turned down a couple of chemos because I didn't like their return for taking them. I guess it's the best way to say it right now that I can think of. And so I didn't like the side effects because I already knew from what I had already taken, it was going to be a lot of side effects. And so that's where we are. Well, 9 years later, it'll be 10 years in July. We have now found a congenital heart disease that I've had, heart defect I've had, and I've had the symptoms. Just quickly, because if you've heard this story before, you already know. And there's some lung damage. I have a partial collapsed lung. At this time, I have been diagnosed with some lung scarring. And as you know, that doesn't go away. And not that we know of. And at this time. And bronchiectasis, which is a chronic lung condition that just developed. And a lot of this stuff is long-term side effects from some of the things, the harsher medicines I had to take earlier. And I don't take any medicines. I do take a anti-nausea medicine at times, but that's very rare. And ibuprofen if I absolutely need it. But I use turmeric and ginger, and a lot of anti-inflammatory things like cinnamon and just lots of stuff to help with the inflammation and help with the pain. So we have that situation. I haven't seen the lung specialist on that yet because that date got pushed back. So I won't see him until June. So, and it's a chronic condition to where if it gets to stage 3, there is no return and it could kill you. So we're at stage 1, praise God. We found it early. The heart defect, I've had the symptoms ever since I was a little girl. I'm pretty sure that attributed to some of my clumsiness as to over the years as to why I've had so many concussions, because I've had a lot of concussions. Now that's where I want to start with. I have a really bad concussion at 6. I've said this before, but I just want to, for those who might be just watching for the first time, really bad concussion at 6. And there wasn't a CT scan, there wasn't any kind of scans. I was just resting and whatever, but I have felt dizzy and nauseated ever since. And when your brain doesn't heal properly, if you get hit to the head again, it could cause another concussion, because as you know, the brain is soft, but the skull is hard. So when the brain gets hit, it moves around, and it can damage, and it damages the brain. So that's what a concussion is. And there's different grades of concussion. Now, because of that, I have had 13 concussions as of date. None of them were sports related, just living, but being off balance. And this is a lot, you all, because it's a lot to deal with, but this is my life. And so we didn't find the post-concussion syndrome until 2020. And that's when they realized it's what it is. But that's because of medical knowledge has gotten better, and they look for things like that and they know more. So praise God, we found that. And so what it is. So I've gone to the neurotherapist several times, 3 times already, and to try to help the brain. And I still suffer from the symptoms. Now, and I'll start with this first. We have found there's new studies. I'll try to find that. I will find the study and I'll put a link to it because it's very interesting. They used to call us the miserable few. When I would read stuff, the miserable few, people who never really, they never healed from concussions. Now, my first one was at 6. I've had the symptoms all these years, had other concussions on top of that. I'm 54. So now they find out we're not the miserable few. We are probably in the majority, because the concussion protocol back then was to rest in a dark room for about a week. And if you've had a concussion, you may have had that. And that's what I was told just about on every one. And they found out lately that it's just like if you hurt your arm and you don't move it, it gets stiff. Or if they keep it in a cast too long, it gets stiff. So they've learned not to do that. And then you have to go through therapy to unstiff it, get it from being stuck. Well, that's the same thing with the brain. So what's happened is, over all these years of doing the old concussion protocol, which we didn't know, we were harming the brain even further. So it was never getting a chance to heal. You got to use it. And so now there's some of us who've had these symptoms for so long that, they're saying that we will not get better without therapy, which I've done therapy. And they're saying some of us will never get better. And so, but I am trusting God and believing God, I will get better. And so I'm doing all the things. My neurologist, I take magnesium, glycinate, 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 yeah. I take magnesium glycinate because there's several types of magnesium. I take omega-3, at least 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams a day, which is great for brain health. I do B vitamins, which is great for brain health. And what else do I take? Oh, yes, I take CoQ10, which helps with my energy, because all of these things really drain me. And there are other supplements I take for different reasons, but, that also helps. So vitamin C helps with brain health because it helps with the cell regeneration. So anyway, and other things. And you can look those up. I'm not a medical doctor. I know this from looking it up and studying it for all these years. But so that's where I am with that. That was new information I just found this week. So I'm excited to see my new neurologist so we can really talk about this stuff. And they have new ways to really track where your brain is. So I'm really excited to see that too, because I want my brain back healthy and healed so I can go back to as much of a normal life as I can. So that's interesting. Now, I went to the chiropractor on Saturday to get a more in-depth with the main chiropractor, to get a more in-depth understanding of what's going on in my body. And oh man, you all, I knew that C1 through C6 were damaged. And they thought it was maybe from the radiation, making it weaker, wear and tear. I've had a lot of concussions, hits to the head. And they, medical doctors aren't trained a lot of times to deal with the root. They're just medically trained. Not saying that all of them don't do this, because I have some really good ones. But they, it was either injections or medicine or just deal with it. That's just the way it is and not make it worse. But with the wellness chiropractor I see, she's able to do things to help the body to get back in line and to help it straighten up so we can get those messages going so the body can heal itself, you all. But now we know that C7, which the cervical is in the neck, if I didn't say that before, but now we know that C7 is damaged also. But C6 causes dizziness, nausea, and lightheadedness, which are symptoms I deal with all the time, which we know those are also symptoms for the post-concussion syndrome. So it seems like there might be a double hit to that. I don't know. We'll find out. When I say a double hit, I don't mean like hit to the head. I mean like a double dose that I'm getting from two different sources. And that makes sense as to why I feel the way I feel every day. And then in one of the parts of the brain, I can't do it exactly because I haven't really studied it out really well, causes the headaches I've been having every day. And so she said, when we get that all straightened, it should help the headaches. And sometimes even after they do the adjustment, my head will be hurting and they'll do another one, which helps it. So that's a blessing. A lot of people don't like chiropractic care because they think chiropractic care, you just have to keep adjusting and whatever. But if you don't keep doing that as you age or as things are going on and you're not fixing them, then you're going to get to where you're immobile as you get older. And so I would rather keep going back and letting them help me than to get immobile because I was in lots of pain before I started. But I'm going to physical therapy. Yesterday I went to physical therapy and I was so exhausted. I couldn't even finish. We got to 36 minutes and it's normally an hour. I couldn't go on. And then we don't push past that. And because it makes me woozy because we're engaging the brain to get the left side of the body stronger. And so we're strengthening the body, which is engaging the brain. I guess it goes both ways, but I don't know really the correct way to say that. But hopefully you get the gist. So the left side of my body has been weak, and that's why the knee hurts, because I went in for knee pain only to find out it was the whole left side of the body. Y'all excuse me, I'm cooking something. And so, hold on just for a second. I'm going to take you with me. And so that has been the issue. Okay, hold on. There we go. I'm going to go back to what I was doing. I'm cooking some salmon and some sweet potato fries. I have an MRI. No, we're just going to go into the MRI. Well, back to the situation. I am tired, and I'm at the point where I have to push through everything that I need to do. I know I need to do it. I know there's a good reason for it, but I'm exhausted, and I want to stop. And I haven't even seen the main doctors yet for the heart, and I haven't seen the doctor for the, for my lungs yet, and haven't seen the new neurologist. That's the big stuff. I hadn't even seen them yet, so I have to push through. It's just, I'm working on just one step at a time. And tomorrow I have an MRI on the breast. It's one of those ones where you go in, and I haven't had one of these in years, but I've had a couple of these. But I have a lot of MRIs and CT scans because we have to check on the body and the different growths, make sure they're not growing. But one of the things that I'm doing is preparing for that MRI. And it's the kind you go in and you drink the solution for 2 hours and then they do the MRI. And they used to wouldn't allow you to do these very often. But we want to make sure there's nothing. My breasts are so dense and my left breast acts like there's cancer there. We've already done in-depth tests, but she wants to make sure there is absolutely no cancer. And so because I've hit the 10-year mark, when you hit the 10-year mark, you don't have to see the oncologist every year with breast cancer. You just see her if you have any issues. And then, of course, you keep up with your mammograms, and they do the in-depth mammograms. So before she lets me loose, she wants to make sure I'm completely okay. So I do that tomorrow. So I've done some research on what to do. And because I know a lot of times they don't tell you what's the best way. Like I was like this time when I started having my scans again, I was getting sick after the x-rays and the scans, and that was from the radiation. So I looked up what to do to cleanse my body from the radiation. And it's more than just water, but I'm drinking, vitamin C and green tea help cleanse the body. So after these things, I drink a lot of that to help purify my blood again and get my body back right and cleanse it all out, the baths, the radiation. Well, before, I want to make sure we get a good scan. Because, that last cancer, praise God, it was an invasive ductile carcinoma, and it had been growing for 10 years. That lump up there was there for 10 years. I have pictures where I've seen it. And I remember when I found it, and it itched and everything, and I didn't know what it was. But finally found a doctor that said, let's look at that. And it was cancer. But it was slow growing, which is very rare in my eyes. It would think, but for an invasive cancer to be slow growing, praise God. I don't want something else to be growing and we miss it. And because I have really dense breasts. So I want to make sure the picture's clear. So, you don't want to eat anything high in iron because it can get in the way of the imaging. You don't want to eat dairy. You don't want to eat anything that's fried. And what was it? There was something else. I don't remember. So what I'm eating for lunch is some broccoli. It's got iron, but it's not high in it. Because I've also intermittent fasting. And I like to break that intermittent fast with greens, something green, either a green juice with, a lot of green stuff. But the stuff I usually drink is very high in iron because of the greens it has in it. So I'm eating some broccoli and some avocado. And I'm also going to eat some salmon and some sweet potato fries, baked sweet potato fries and baked salmon. And so that's what you heard going off up there. But to help my body be ready for it, I'm going to drink lots of liquids. No caffeine. They said no caffeine. So, but I'm readying myself for it so I can get a very good scan and I can recover from it clearly. So that's what I'm dealing with. And it's just this resilience and patience and perseverance thing. Oh my goodness. I can't do a fast pace, but I can do steady. And even in doing steady, it's a lot to keep up with everything. And sometimes I want to quit. And I went to the chiropractor today. Well, my friend Stephanie today called me. We haven't been able to talk in a while. She called me and she said, she encouraged me too, because I said, I'm just getting tired. And she said, you don't quit or nothing. You're strong or whatever. And it was what she said. I don't remember what she said. That was the gist of what she said. And it really encouraged me. Then I went to a chiropractor and I was just, dragging. And I told the doctor, Dr. Deja, and she said, that's her first name. And she said, basically along the same lines in a different way. And she said, see, I just encouraged you. I just gave you a word. And yes, she did. I needed it. And I just want to say, you have to have that in you, because when you're going through as much as I'm going through, it creates other issues and it's a lot. And your friends and family a lot of times cannot handle this. And it gets pretty lonely. And I carry a lot of this myself and I warned my new friends that I've just met, hey, you may not be able to handle all of this. So just let me know. Anyway, but I can tell by the way that they pull back. It's not that they don't want to talk to me. It's just they can't handle the situation. And I totally understand that, because it's a lot. It's a lot for me, and I have grace to do it. And they just get little spurts of it. Of everything I'm going through. And so, anyway, but I'm encouraged, and I'm going to keep going one step at a time. Because that's all I can do. I can't run with this thing, but I can take a step at a time. Well, you all, I hope this encouraged you to let you know you're not alone. Don't give up. We can do this. We can get through this. We don't have to just settle. It can get better. And remember to have courage in trouble, have courage in pain. Everything we do to move forward is not done in vain. I'm sorry this is so long. Have a great day. Bye.